Hey guys, welcome to Red's Projects. Today we got the XG on the dyno. Since last time I've made a few upgrades. If you want a full story on what I've done, check my other videos. But the short story is I fitted a water to air intercooler with a ice tank, ice box, reservoir, whatever you want to call it. I fitted a 4-port Mac valve, so now I have proper boost control, whereas before I just put the air compressor on to do dome pressure. I have a second fuel pump that I've plumbed in and wired in that will be triggered off boost pressure. And I have a bunch of sensors. I got a couple of temp sensors and a couple of pressure sensors so I can log a lot more stuff and have a bit more of an idea what's going on. So, first run is going to be how I drive it 90% of the time, which is the intercooler pump turned off and the boost controller turned off. So just wastegate pressure, which should be around 6 PSI. So this will be our baseline and we'll work up from there. All right, so that went well. We made 349.5 kilowatt. I'm going to call that 350. Last time without the intercooler on wastegate pressure, it made 341, I think. So we've bumped up 8 to 10 kilowatt. Running the intercooler, it's lost about a pound of boost, which that's expected. When you have an intercooler, there's always going to be pressure drop across the intercooler. So with 1 less pound of boost, we're made 8, 10-ish kilowatts. Some of that is the timing retard that was happening last time. With no intercooler, we had really high inlet temps, so I was pulling, I think, 3 degrees out. This next run is going to be how I drive it 10% of the time, and that is with the boost controller turned on and the intercooler pump turned on. I've got the boost control, I've got it set up with just a raw duty cycle. It's set at 35% at the moment. And with the street driving I've done, it bumps the boost up a couple pounds and feels a lot faster. So I'm curious to see how much power it makes like this. All right, so I'm pretty happy with how that went. On 35% duty cycle, it made about 10 pounds of boost, and we made 410 kilowatt. Everything in the log looks good. Now with that run, I consider that in street trim. So what I've done for this run, tune's exactly the same, is I've taken the mufflers, see they're on the ground there, and this goes from 5 to 4 inch before it goes through the mufflers. So I'll put my 5-inch tailpipe on it, so there's no restriction at all. And I've filled the intercooler full of ice, and that's the noise you can hear now. You can see we're all full of ice. This is starting to get some condensation on it and getting very cold. So top it up with ice, and we'll do one run with no mufflers and with ice in the ice tank and see if we pick up any power. All right, so the car really liked that. It made for 26 kilowatt. It picked up a pound of boost, roughly, and inlet temps were freaking amazing. So before the intercooler, it's 106 degrees Celsius. After the intercooler, it's 24 degrees Celsius. So we're dropping a heap. And both the intercooler and the ice tank are still really chilly and icy. I've actually got a thermal camera here that I got to charge up, but I want to have a look, see what the temp is on the outsides of them. But yeah, very happy with that. And I gave the boost controller a bump, and we'll do another run. All right, so pretty happy with those results. Got 466 kilowatt on 15 to 14 pounds. It was started at 15, dropped to 14 through the run. So I gave the boost control another bump, but I went 5% down low and 10% up top to try and get the boost level or get more boost in the higher RPM. Put some fresh ice in the intercooler reservoir. So that's the clackety noise you can hear at the moment. Letting things chill down. Inlet temps for that last run. So before the intercooler was 131 degrees Celsius. After the intercooler was 30 degrees Celsius. So we dropped 100 degrees through the intercooler. So pretty impressed with this eBay cheap water to air intercooler. It's working pretty well so far. But yeah, next run, hopefully a couple more pounds of boost. All right, so just quickly before the next run, I got the thermal camera going, and it's a little bit hard to read some of these. So I had to put some tape on the intercooler. And you see if I line that up, we are at 1.2 degrees Celsius. That's pretty freaking cool to have the intercooler call that cool. So very happy with this intercooler setup. All right, so on that run, we didn't actually pick up any power. It made 1 kilowatt more. It made 1 more pound of boost. 1 more pound at the start, 1.5 at the end, because I kind of leveled the duty cycle a little bit. Everything else looks good, timing looks good. Air temps were 144 degrees before the intercooler, 37 afterwards. So it is making more heat. Still, intercooler's still doing an amazing job. I think I might be out of turbo, but what I've done for this run, I bumped the duty cycle 10% overall, so we're at 60 down low, 65% up top. If it makes the same power or worse, then I know I'm out of turbo. Drive pressure, I can't remember. I'll look at drive pressure later. In that case, if it doesn't make any more power or makes less, I'll put it back to 45, I think, was where it made the most power. And then I might play with timing a little bit. But yeah, this run, a little bit more duty cycle, see if the turbo's got anything left in it, and we'll go from there. All right, so I'm definitely out of turbo. It made more boost, but we made less power. We made 452 kilowatt on about 17 pounds of boost. I'm going to show you some data over there in a second, but before I do, inlet temp, before the intercooler, it actually pegged the sensor at 150 degrees Celsius, which is like 302 Fahrenheit, and the sensor flatlines. It doesn't read any hotter than that. So very hot before the intercooler. After the intercooler is 34 degrees. So that's a drop of like, what, 116 degrees. It's dropping through the intercooler. So intercooler's doing an amazing job. Turbo is done. So let's have a look at the data. So there's our 452 kilowatt. And if we come over this side here, up the top, up here is our actual boost pressure. So when we ran 45% duty cycle, we made, on here it reads about PSI higher than the car. So ignore these numbers a little bit, but started with 16, ended in 15 something, that's the yellow line. Back pressure, 21, 22, not a great deal. The green line is when I bumped it up to 50% down low, 55 up top. You can see we picked up, where's a better one? picked up 1.5 pounds of boost down low, and then I think 1 pound at the end. 2 pounds at the end. But you see our back pressure picked up quite a bit. So out here, we made 17 pounds of boost, 28 pounds of back pressure. Then when I bumped the boost up again, boost didn't go up that much. We're at 18 on the dyno, dropping to 16.5 or so. You see back pressure, we're getting close to 2 to 1. We've got 30 pounds of back pressure, 16 pounds of boost pressure out there. So we are done. And power between the yellow line and the green line, power did not change, and the white line power went down. So I put it back to 45% duty cycle, start to finish, and I threw a couple degrees of timing in it. So let's see if we can make a couple more numbers on this dyno run. All right, so that last run kind of raised more questions than it answered. It made less boost. It was probably down 1 pound or 2 compared to the other 45% duty cycle run. So I'm not sure why that happened. I did also do a half run where I forgot to turn the boost controller on. So it made wastegate pressure. So I stopped, let it idle for a couple of seconds, and then went to put the boost controller on and made another run. But yeah, it made a couple pounds less boost, but it had a couple more degrees timing in it and made roughly the same power. We're still dancing around that 460 mark. So I'm not really, I think we're pretty much done by the looks of it. What I want to do, this is probably the last run. I put just a straight 50% in for duty cycle. I left the timing in, let it cool down, put some more ice in it. I also pulled the air filter off, just in case this guy was a restriction. So if we can at least make the same boost with this run that it did on the previous 45% run where it made 466, I can at least see if the timing, if it likes the timing I put into it. So if not, if it makes the same power or less, I'll pull the timing back out. So yeah, let's give that a go. This will probably be the last run, I think. All right, that did exactly what I wanted it to do. We made 473 kilowatt. The boost was identical to the previous run where we made 466. So I got to see the difference the timing would make, and it made about 10 kilowatt down low and a bit more up top. So it did like the timing. But I just think we're out of turbo at the moment. There's no point throwing a heap of timing in it to try and make more power. It is on 98. It is stock bottom end, all that sort of crap. So I think I'm going to leave it where it is now. I'm pretty happy with the progress I've made today. I'll just quickly show you some more data. So there's our 473. So if you have a look here, you see the top one is boost pressure, the middle one is back pressure. So we made exactly the same boost pressure, but we used 50% duty cycle instead of 45. So we had a little bit more back pressure to get that boost pressure, which is a little bit strange. So I don't know if the turbo is getting a bit sad, or if it's just from the heat or something. But we needed more duty to make the same boost. But we ended up with a little bit more power. You see down low, we picked up like 10 kilowatt, and then all the way out the end, we picked up 20 or so. So this was like 2 degrees up top, and then 1 degree down bottom. But yeah, we're still definitely out of turbo. Not really sure what's going on here as well. This is reading like 9.9, 10 to 1 down here, but in the data log in the Holly, we're at like 11.0. So one of the wide bands is lying to me, and I'm not really sure why. All right, I am happy with the car the way it is now. We made pretty good progress today. Previous power it made, highest power it made was 380 something kilowatts. So now that we're making 470, I'm pretty happy. I did want to get into the 500 kilowatt, 700 horsepower area, but that seems wasn't for us today. So the converter's probably a bit on the loose side for the power and torque we're making at the moment, and obviously looks like the turbo isn't going to get us there. So that's no big deal. I've already got some stuff planned. So yeah, we're making more power soon. But other than that, happy. Car's been amazing today. I didn't put plugs in it. I haven't checked the oil, haven't done anything, and it's been a trouble-free day. Been no struggles so far. So yeah, I'm going to call it good here while it's still running, and get this thing off and go home and have some dinner. So that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.